Hello and welcome to That's Football. Who has the most lethal strike force currently in the Premier League? Not an easy question to answer, but one we're certainly going to try and do today. Want your input as per usual. Liverpool, Manchester City, Spurs, Manchester United, Arsenal. Did I forget anybody? Chelsea. I think it comes from that six. You know, they are the top six sides in the Premier League. I'm pretty sure they will be the top six sides at the end of the season. Everton, I think in losing Lukaku, probably leave themselves out of it. Does anybody else really, realistically think that they can get into that top six of having the most lethal strike force in the Premier League? I think not, but get commenting below if you disagree. Looking at those six, I think the first place to start with is the champions Chelsea. Costa, not playing, gone. Probably never going to play for Conte again, that's for sure. But replaced by Morata, and also ran a second-rate striker at Real Madrid. Bit harsh words. I think he will score goals in the Premier League. Hazard not back yet. And obviously supplemented by the likes of Willian and Pedro, to name a few. Chelsea certainly contenders, but there's something for me that makes me think they're not the most lethal strike force and weren't the most lethal strike force last year. Last year, for me, it was down to Spurs, predominantly through Harry Kane and Dele Alli, but certainly supplemented by the class of Eriksen, Son and a few others. So for me, Spurs were the most lethal strike force last season. I don't know whether you disagree with that. And again, definitely would be up there this season. Not had a fantastic start though, let's not forget. They did win their first game of the season away. They've also pummeled Everton at the weekend. So Spurs contenders, but I'm not going to give them the crown yet, although I would say they are the holders from last season. Maybe you disagree. I think Spurs were the most lethal strike force last season. Manchester United. Now, first 3 games of the season, fantastic. Most goals scored, you'd have to say, on the first 3 games. Definitely. But what is the Manchester United lineup? I think with Chelsea, Spurs and some of the other teams we're going to mention, I think they've got a definitive best strike force. We're talking lethal strike force here. United, Lukaku for sure. Pogba somewhere around there supporting them. Mkhitaryan in behind. But who's the left winger? Who's the right winger? Rashford, Martial fighting it out for the left side. Mata potentially is the one on the right. So does the fact that they don't have that settled left side yet and they changed that formation away to Stoke, does that really rule them out? Or does it mean they've got more options and they have a collective lethal strike force? Liverpool. A lot of people would be touting Liverpool. Firmino doing well up front. Salah and Mane when he's not getting red cards. Midfield 3. It's been Wijnaldum or, as we know, Coutinho will come in. But Coutinho hasn't been there. We don't know what's going to happen with him. Jordan Henderson and Can, basically the workhorses. Liverpool, certainly, plan A, under Klopp, are a threat. And Manchester City. So many options. Aguero and Jesus playing up front at the weekend against Liverpool, both scoring goals. Sane on the bench, comes on, gets a couple of goals. Silva, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, De Bruyne, Sterling. The options are endless for Manchester City. And I think for the few Manchester City fans there are out there, I'm only having a pop there, they would certainly say we should be considered to be the top. And finally, Arsenal. Would you describe Arsenal as a lethal strike force? Potentially, Alexis Sanchez, Lacazette, Giroud as well off the bench. It is a collective, I believe. But then, Ozil, fair weather friend, Ramsey, Cazorla's been injured for a long time, Walcott's gone off the boil, Chamberlain's left. I don't think Arsenal really, in your heart of hearts, would consider yourselves the most lethal strike force. Potentially on your day, you're pretty good, but there's too many question marks about Arsenal. And although they did recover with a win over Bournemouth at the weekend, I just don't know whether Arsenal really are even in them top 5 sides anymore. I think they are 6th and dropping. But we'll see. I think, in all honesty, Manchester United have had a good start to the season. Liverpool are a threat. Spurs, the holders of last year for me. Chelsea do drop out. Man City. So we're down to 4. City, Spurs, Liverpool, United. If you're asking me, I think it's very hard. I think it's so hard. You know what I'm going to do? There's a poll in the top right hand corner. You can all get voting. If you're pushing me, and I never sit on the fence, I think the most lethal strike force at this time is still Spurs. I just like what Pochettino does with his collective team. I I think Wembley's a factor for them this year, and their home form's going to suffer. But what they did to Everton at the weekend, I think the Spurs are a well-oiled machine. Manchester City are still capable of having games where they can't break teams down. Liverpool are definitely a team that when teams sit back, they can't break teams down. If people play high up against Liverpool and attack them, they're scintillating on the break. But when teams sit back, that rules Liverpool out because they haven't got that. Manchester United, brilliant. You know, Rashford's come off the bench, Martial's come off the bench, Pogba and Mkhitaryan have got loads of assists, Lukaku's got 4 in 4, and Mata's always useful. For me, though, it does come down to Spurs. Spurs followed by City. Spurs followed by United, followed by City, followed by Liverpool, followed by Chelsea, followed by Arsenal. That's my top 6. But get voting. Get voting in the top corner. There's an eye there. Give us your comments below. Thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like on the video. Give us some ideas of stuff you want to cover. We've got loads of ideas, but I think Lethal Strike Force was a good idea. I stand by it. Thanks for watching. Remember, tomorrow night we've got the watch along. Dortmund versus Spurs. Watch along on this channel tomorrow night, 7:30. Really looking forward to that as a neutral fan channel as we are, unless you are a Spurs fan, which you'll enjoy. But as a neutral game, really excited about that. Drop a like. Remember to keep spreading the word about That's Football, the neutral fan channel for all of you. Get involved, and got some exciting news to give you over the next week or so anyway. So thanks for watching. Join the debate below. Who has the most lethal strike force? Sounded a bit Star Wars, that, didn't it?